From Senegal to Sugar Hill, trace the bloodline. 100 years of brilliance through the color line. They thought the shackles broke but kept the mental chain. Langston penned the future while they legislated pain. Harlem's ballrooms birthed the cosmos in mahogany, while lynching trees still decorated southern botany. Josephine, Wakers, pearls, and Garvey's Navy ships. Du Bois debating destiny with scholarship on his lips. The Renaissance was a renaissance, it was resistance, fam. Every trumpet blast from Armstrong was a battering ram. They gave us minstrel shows, we gave them Sora Neal. Turned depression into art, made the fabricated real. Cotton Club excluded us from tables every set. To form the Deanest Nightly, never free from the deck. But Bessie Smith could shatter glass, shatter cash, shatter lies. Every note she sang contained a revolution in the sky. Build temples from the rubble, make cathedrals from the struggle. Turn the margins to the center, now they study what we scribble. We build temples from the rubble, every generation double the inheritance of genius that they try to keep us from. Fast forward through the decades, watch the pattern reassemble. Malcolm's speeches, Martin's marches, every voice begins to tremble to the earth until the structure shows its fractures. FBI was tracking every coon with every pastor, every actor. 40 acres never came but 40 minutes on a stage. To reconvene your consciousness and channelize the rage. From bebop to hip-hop, the fool lines mathematical. Each generation weaponized the beautiful, the radical. They gave us Reagan, now there's crack and mass incarceration. We gave them Public Enemy and blueprints for liberation. The Harlem Renaissance never ended, just evolved its form. Every freestyle cipher is a brainstorm, is a storm. Where the children of the talented, the tenth that was prophesied, inherit the fire that the water couldn't wash aside. They tried to write us out the narrative. We offered all on text, 100 years of proof, and that we're destined. Where was next? Temples from the rubble, make cathedrals from the struggle. Turn the margins to the center, now they study what we scribble. We built temples from the rubble, every generation double the inheritance of genius that they try to keep us from.
All right, this is and you are Under the Groove. Welcome everybody. This is Under the Groove podcast. Let's get it in. Hey, a blessed, prosperous, peaceful Monday to each and every one of you. Grand Rising. This is what it is. We're gonna call it what it is. A spade is a spade in terms of how we get down. It's good to see everybody in here, man. Let's go. Let's turn it up. Got a couple of things in line for us, man. I missed Friday. And just so everybody know, I missed Friday because Saturday was May 2nd. And in a lot of the community, it's called Phi Deuce Day. But that was the day I was released from prison 10 years ago. So I took it upon myself. My wife, actually, she wanted to celebrate 10 years, a decade of being on the streets. No, let me rephrase that. A decade of being home amongst family, supporting, catering to, protecting, providing for family for 10 years. And it was considered that that's a milestone, being that I hadn't been on the streets like that for decades, since I think the last time I was on the streets at any length of time was at the age of 13, 14. That's when it ended. From 14 on, I've been incarcerated. So, we wanted to, set that out there as an accomplishment, a milestone. And so we celebrated with friends and family, friends, and loved ones here at the home. We had a good time, from 4 to 10. Actually, it went on a little longer than that, but it was a beautiful thing to say the least. I appreciated it so much so that I wanted everybody who showed up to know that it wasn't about me being here. Most of the individuals who came had already been here and been here plus the 10 years I was here. And I say, man, this is for all of us. Let's pay homage. Let's recognize that we've accomplished something. We're still here. That means something. Not only are we still here, but we're here in this get down. We're at the forefront of this get down. We're doing what we're supposed to do. We're being responsible, not just to self, but the family as well. And all those other obligations that we have, to take care of, to see to as human beings, as men, as Black gods, So that's how I looked at that, man. It wasn't just about me. It was about the collective, So that's how we celebrated that. And I appreciated it. I appreciate my loved ones who all came through. It's just too many to name. I'm not going to attempt to, but you know who you are. Again, my respect and love is extended to each and every one of you. All right. That being said, yeah, here I am and there you are. This is Touching Bases with the People. This is Under the Groove. Under the Groove podcast. All right. This is what we do Monday through Friday, 6:15. I'm a little late today, but don't worry about it. I am here. Better late than never. 6:15 to 8:15 or so, so on. I always wait for that call or that text from the wife, say, hey, time to shut it down, and then that's what I do. But again, man, it's appreciative. My being here means a great deal, not just to me, but to my family, my friends, and my loved ones. We chop it up in such a way to where, man, ain't nothing but love and respect. I look forward to this. I was sitting up in them stoops for a while, but again, my whole life. I'm 61. I'll be 62 shortly in August. 2/3 of my life been spent incarcerated. All right. I have to say that I know for a fact I'm living my best life. And that's because of the people that's in my life, and I just want to pay homage to those individuals. You know who you are. You know who you are. That means a great deal to me. And I like to think that it does as well to you. So, hey, man, here we are. And it's a good thing. It's a glorious look. That's how I want to say that. All right. I see the comments up in here, man. I see you. This is Willie Gray, man. He said, man, what's good, folks? Like the intro fire, ain't it? The intro is fire. It's a little long. I've heard people say, man, the intro fire, but it's long. I think it's long because there's, in how people listen to rap and how they associate with it, how it resonates with them. Most of what they're talking about, man, and respectfully, I say this, it's nothing. It's not what it should be. There's no message. That was old school hip hop. The beat was nice, man. The lyrics were put together, man, exquisitely. The shit was laid right. But the intro is long because there's a message in it, bro. And I'm telling you, if you just listen to the lyrics, you'll see, man, that shit means something. But the intro is in of itself great. The outro is even better, So yeah, that's what it is. I appreciate that you love the outro, man. Wait till you get a bar the intro, excuse me. Wait till you get a bar the outro. You'll see what I'm talking about. I don't plan to change it for some time. So we had actually, this is our third intro outro to this channel, Under the Groove podcast. And for those who don't know, yes, this is still Under the Groove. We started out as Under the Groove, the Hoover story, but our design, our idea was not to remain dormant in that sphere. You know what I mean? We didn't think that discussing gang culture was the way to go. We kind of thought that to talk about it for too long, too extensively was kind of glorifying. And so we moved on. It's no longer Under the Groove, the Hoover story. This is just Under the Groove podcast. And, we tend to ask those who tune in, what's under your groove? We're talking about a foundation. What square you standing on? What's propping you up? What makes you you? You know what I mean? So that's what that means, man. That being said, it's still the same get down. It's just, more conscious, and I think, I don't know how a lot of you think. Well, for those of you who tap in, I know how you think. It's about that. It's about being conscious. It's about reaching out to the people and getting back to where we need to be. It's been a long time. We've been separated from one another. We've had a lot thrown at us. We allow a lot of distractions, a lot of conflict and dissension to continue to separate us. We set out to put this in front of the people to say, hey, man, it ain't about that. It's about unity. I don't care. We don't care whether you red, blue, orange, black, gray, brown, yellow. You know what I mean? We talking about B1, black first. That's it. That's all. All right. So I just want to put that out there. Again, this is Under the Groove podcast, and you're more than welcome to be here. For all of you who are showing up, man, it's a good look. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Willie Gray said, man, what's good, folks? Like the intro. Again, wait till you get to the end. Go to the end with us. The outro is fire. It is fire as much as the intro is. All right. All right, Antonio, I see you, loved one. As always, man, peace and prosperity to you and yours, bro. Hey, blessed Monday, happy Monday, prosperous Monday. What did you do today, man? You know, I ain't gonna ask you how was your day. What did you contribute to your day? How did you make it better, bro? That goes for each and every one of us. See, we got to get out of that thing where we say, man, hey, how you doing? You know, how was your day? Yeah, man, that's so trite, you know? We're not tapping in with the people. We're not touching bases with the people. The people that went through the day, shit on their mind. There are things on their chests and their shoulders. We have issues. Speak truth to power, man. That's what this is about. So we want to tap into that. Now, that's not saying because you share with us, we automatically, magically, we're going to change, you know what I'm saying, whatever it is you're going through now. We're saying that to say, hey, man, come on over here and, vent, release, put it out there. Let's have these conversations because that's what's healthy. If we continue to hold this shit in us, we'll continue to see a lot of what we see going on in our communities. So that's why I say to you, Antonio, and others, hey, man, what did you do today to make it good, make it great, make it better, So, hey, man, good to see you in here as always, though, Antonio. I love you, man. Respect. Lisa Moore, she said, Grand Rising, Brother Bub, peace and blessings to you and the family. Love, peace, and blessings to the kings and queens in the RGC B1 Black First. The kings and queens, that's us, y'all. The melanated people, gods and goddesses. We just don't know it yet, We've been anointed with the God gene. I say that often. A lot of people don't get that, but there's no one like us. Genetically built, created. Nobody like us. We have the God gene, Black first means just that, Black first. Let's start dealing with us. We're dealing with everything and everybody except ourselves, man. And people are benefiting off of us. Everybody's winning but us. Why is that? Why is that? Put that in the chat. Let me know. That's a question. Why is everybody benefiting off of us better than we are? My opinion is this. Is because we put everything and everybody else before us and our well-being, our health, our progression, our empowerment, that's a problem. We have to get to the point where we start to recognize that it's going to take us to deal with us, to see to it that we're doing better. No one's going to come and help us do nothing for us. No one. We're just meat on bones that they want to, they eat off of. We have to get to the point where we're doing better for us. That's what Black First means, all right? That's what it represents in some aspect. That's not the whole thing. That's just some of it. You can ask the RGC, and they'll give you a whole better script than I just did, all right? So B1, y'all, Black First. Good to see you, Lisa Moore. Appreciate you, Queen. All right, Henry Sadello, man, he up in this thing, man. He said, good evening, ladies and gents. Peace and blessings. Brother Bud, right back to you, bro. Peace and prosperity to you and your fam. Good to see you here, man. Like I said, man, it's a great Monday. This is motivational and momentum Monday. I got a couple of things laid up in the queue for us. I just spoke on it on one issue I want to bring up briefly, the God aspect, that anointing, from whoever that creator is, the most high, Yah, or whatever. Y'all, we all come from that. All right. We all come from that. And that means then we all need to get beyond these religious biases that continue to separate us. All right. We have to get beyond that. We have to recognize that we all come from one source. And I'm talking about the melanated people first and foremost. Again, respectfully, I say that, that's not a knock or swipe at anybody that's not melanated. I'm saying for, a point of fact that we know we are the chosen ones, and we have to live up to that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say that. That's why we here in the Undergroove, when we touching bases, we say what we say. All right. Good to see you, my queen. Good to see you, as well as you, Henry. There go to Lisa Moore I was talking about, but you as well, my brother. Queen Nzinga says, okay. Queen Nzinga. That's a goddess, y'all. She say, peace and blessings to the kings and queens, to the Royal Group congregation. Again, B1, Black First. Also, let's get it straight right now for those of you who are new. We got the brother just coming in, and I meant to say that I apologize for going beyond, not saying extending, our appreciation for you being here, Willie Gray. More than welcome to be here, brother. Ours is about respect, love, and unity, straight up. We're going into identity. We talk about history. We talk about all that matters, all that has been or that is being taken from our focus intentionally. They remove all that should matter to us, and they replace it with BS, man. All kind of distractions. But here, this is how we getting down, my brother. Good to see you up in here, man. B1 equals black. First, we talking about us, first and foremost. But that being said, let me go on. Queen Nzinga says, peace and blessings to the kings and queens, to the royal congregation. B1, y'all. What it do, James? Compton in the house, the CPT. Our brother James come up here, Bam come up here, and others from the CPT, and they come in represent, man. They with the business, man. You got to love them. No nonsense type of brothers, man, and sisters, Appreciate you up in here, though, James. He said, what that Compton like, bub? It's on the one. It's on the one, as far as I'm concerned. The CPT, the Compton and the Bompton. You know what I mean? Hey, our brothers, man. Our brothers. We in this fight together. Most of us don't know it yet, but we're coming around. We're waking up now. That's the beauty of this. Get down. We want to be a source that cater to that. Unity. Originally, I'm from Hoover Street. But hey, man, that ain't got nothing to do with nothing, man, especially if we ain't talking about unity. So that's what's up with this, man. Good to see you here, bro. Love you, man. Thought about you over the weekend, too. I ain't gonna lie. Henry Sedella say, under the groove, 100, man. Strong fire. Appreciate that, bro. James say, CPT in here with love and respect. Peace to you and yours, brother. West up to the Hoovers, to the gangsters, to the CCs, to the RUs, the Rules, and the B-Dogs. Everyone out there keeping it real. We all we got. Truth to power, man. Like I say, man, we're going to call a spade a spade. Blackness, man. We got to find unity in this get down, man, because I'm telling you, otherwise, they're going to continue to find ways to disunify or make sure we're not unified. And for the most part, we play into that shit. We got to get beyond that, man. We got to get beyond being misled, being miseducated. All that stuff, man. We got to get to the point where, man, we start to determine what our future, what our road is, man, and where it's going to lead us and why. For the most part, a lot of us don't understand, man, that we got them young ones coming up behind us. And if they ain't getting laced right, if their shoes aren't laced right, man, if they're not being given or disseminated information and knowledge, education about not just, man, where they set come from and why it is, but, man, who they are. We're talking about lineage. They're not going to be able to take nothing in the future that's going to be able to help them, man, to combat those who are going to come at them or try to destroy them. Because that's the process. We're living in a society, man, where most in this society want to see us fail. That's one. Or either they want to eat the meat off our bones. That's two. The third is they want to see us annihilated, period, point blank. There's a certain people that want to see us annihilated. The black hats. We're a threat to them. We don't know that, though, as much as they do. See, they need to steal our identity so that they can claim the throne as being, God's chosen, We know better, or we should know better, As far as they see it, we ain't got the memo yet, and this is why they act or carry on the way that they do. And so our purpose, though, for those of us who know, is to enlighten our young brothers and sisters who will be kings and queens and gods and goddesses in the end of this get down. This shit is meaningful, y'all. It has a lot of meaning to it, a lot of significance. Appreciate you, though, James. Raymond Skull, what it do, bro? All right. You say salute, boy. Bub, hope all is well for you and the family. Congrats on reaching that landmark. Peace and blessings to the RGC. B1 equals black first. I was saying about black first. It's not something that, I think, or a lot of us look at or think of as this new thing, this new label title for black people, like African American, Black American, or FBA. Nah, we're saying, hey man, all that's beautiful, but it has to be black first. It can't be that where we're creating dissension, where the FBAs are saying, oh, y'all some ignorant brothers and sisters. Y'all ignorant. Y'all can't be queens and kings because y'all that's creating dissension, separation, disunity. African Americans having issues with Black Americans, the indigenous or native Black or melanated people. It's like, man, we going at each other, man. For what? For what? Now, I understand, I accept that there are others coming in who are melanated and they want to not necessarily, well, no, call it what it is. They're coming in wanting to steal the role or get in, or what they call nowadays, they want to be tethers. I get that. I see what the problem is in that. But here's the thing. When we educate ourselves, no matter what anyone says or does outside of this group of kings and queens, gods and goddesses who are here, who know it from the times of bondage, man, and before that, you can't, you can't move us off our square. And that go for the black hats as well. You cannot move us off our square because we're informed. We know our identity, our lineage, our history, that's a must. And when we know these things and when we carry on in such a way where we're unified in them, nobody from outside, even our ancestors, our cousins from across the water, they'll know better than to come over here and try to, usurp what we've been through or disrespect even what we've been through. They'll know better, And again, that goes beyond our own, that melanated, persuasion. It would also consider these Europeans who want to steal the throne from us, who want to claim that they are the chosen. When we got our stuff together, man, that's impossible to do. But until we get to that point, yeah, we're going to have contenders, imposters. We're going to have usurpers. We're going to have these individuals that want to come in and claim the fame. I don't know no other way to put that, because that's what it is, man. We're famous because we have the God gene. We have the God gene, Our being here, man, it's significant. It's not by coincidence, We are the ones, all right? So let's get together. I appreciate you, Raymond, man. Raymond Skull, and again, man, shout out to you and the fam. Hey, man, peace and prosperity, you and your immediate family, as well as the extended family, the Rays, man, all the way from Inglewood to LA to Pasadena, man. We send shots out, man, to you brothers and sisters. And our thoughts are that may you be on the right path, man. It's about building. It's about growing, being empowered. We want to reach excellence, man. We've been long enough, man, in this wilderness. It's time to come out the wilderness, man, and let's get it together. Let's get it together, all right? So, yeah, man, appreciate you again, Raymond James. Say, man, I don't give a damn what nobody say. Los Angeles, stand up. Black brothers and sisters made this whole damn country. The whole city is ours, all black. Whoever else trying to be, everyone else trying to be, right? Black first. That reminds me, you say we made this whole damn city. We talked about the sister last week, man, who she trekked all the way from Texas, walking behind the back of a wagon. She was free, didn't know she was free, got to Los Angeles, still not realizing, understanding she was free because her so-called master didn't want her to know these things, but she had the wherewithal to figure it out. She figured it out and got herself out of bondage. As a result of that, guess what she did? She ended up, man, owning most of what they call downtown Los Angeles today. That's what she did by herself. Now, hey, man, if that ain't an individual with the wherewithal, if that's not an individual cut from greatness, or has a godlike disposition to get it done and create, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. So appreciate that, James. Real spit, man. You're going to say y'all suckers fetching every time we stepping. They all follow our moves and motions. The whole wide world of non-blacks study us. They all study black brothers and sisters, the kings and queens. Loke, one, yes, real spit, man. Yeah, you gotta admit that. You gotta bring that into play, because we do have individuals, man, who they despise us. They can't stand us, and we see it every day, and yet they want to portray us. I mean, in everything. We've even had our own kind that come from across the water, from the continent, the motherland, and make claims that we have no culture here. And yet, when they get here, guess what they do? They adapt to the culture. They become part of the culture. You know what I mean? And mostly everything they do. But not just them. We have those coming out of South America, those who come out of Europe, whatever they come from, wherever they come from. They have a certain disdain for us, and yet they imitate us. They emulate us. They want to be us. But damn, how can that be? It's like a contradiction. It's a contradiction. These are contradictory people. Ashley Gonzalez is a contradiction. And anyone like her, they are contradictions. You have this disdain and this hate for us, and yet you relate, you act like you're one of us. That's contradiction. So, hey, man, now, in respect to that, I have this, and I've said this time and time again. I'll continue to say it. That shouldn't be our focus. We know what it is. It's been this way. We know what it is. From music to dress styles and fashions, man, to movies, to swag, demeanor, disposition, technology, medicine. We know what it is. Let's not waste our focus on that. They're going to be that until the time comes when we got our shit together. They won't have nothing to say. They won't have nothing to say, and we'll have the rightful position of those individuals who can determine whether or not we allow them in our presence, crawling on their knees or coming to us with their heads bowed. That's on us. That's what we got to focus on, us. That's it. Don't worry about nothing else or nobody else, man. They're going to do that until such a time they see, oh, shit, they're not having that no more. Yeah, we really do want to be them. Can we join? We love y'all. That's how they'll approach. That's how they'll approach the situation once we get ours together, though. And that's what's important. Hold on, everybody. Let's get ours together. Let's not waste our energy and our focus on those that really don't matter. They have no say in this shit, man. We're the only ones who have say in this. If we allow them, they'll continue to act like they have a say in this, man. I saw some a couple of weeks ago saying, well, actually, it was a couple of months ago when they first brought it up, saying that we don't deserve reparations. I'm like, oh, shit. Damn, they're bold. Damn, that was a bold statement. By some Chicanos, some essays that mimic our culture. You can go all the way back to Zoot Suits. That was us. That wasn't them first. But they mimicked it. They assimilated our culture. Low riders, that's us. Oldies, that's us. All three of which they follow. And that's not a knock. Man, we got a beautiful thing going on here. That's why everybody follow it. That's why they're a part of it. They love it. Let them love it. But let's make ours even better. Let's tighten our hand, y'all. That's all. We tighten our hand, and then those who think that they want to usurp or appropriate something that we created, we invented, they'll have a second thing coming. They'll think twice. All right. So that's on us. Let's not focus on the BS. Let's get it done. Let's know our history. So if you come a time, we run into one or two of them, we'll be able to set them and we'll be able to set them straight. We'll be able to set them straight, That's all we have to do, And in some instances, we ain't even got to pay them no attention. Ignore them. Let's go about our business, man. It's on us. All right. B60 said, man, greetings, salutations to you, bub, and the RGC B1. Right back to you, homie. Peace and prosperity to you and the fam down that way, man. And hey, may everything be to your liking. May you have done everything you need to do today to make this a superior, superb day. All right. Better than it was yesterday, at the very least. All right. That's our mission, man. When we get up and it's a grand rising, my eyes open, man, and that spirit, that blood get to flowing, and you, hey, man, that's the ancestors telling us, all right, get up, get out, and get something. Make it happen. Make that day everything it can be, all right? Appreciate you up in here, B60. James say, man, the world is watching. They can kiss my ass with my black fist held high. Stay up off our nuts if you're not trying to better our people, black men and black women strictly. Yeah, again, we don't look to them to better nothing for us. This is our responsibility. This is our responsibility. I think that's part of the problem with us. We want to look to people to assist us for us. We look to people to depend on. That's the problem. And that's the way the system was rigged and geared for us to do. It was made like this for us to be in a position of dependency. And we don't have to be. I'm telling y'all, man, most of us know we could change the world tomorrow if we decided to, as a unit. I mean, literally and figuratively, we could change the world tomorrow if that was our choice, if we chose to do that. But a lot of us do depend on this system. The system is ingrained in us. And therefore, because it's so, a lot of us don't understand or know how to separate or disconnect from the matrix. That's our work, man. For those of us who know, who are conscious, hey, man, each one teach one, each one reach one. If we get one, that's the magic number, man. Shit, we're well on our way. Let's get it done. James say, for sure, bub, I'm with you. You already know I stay ready for our loved ones. Appreciate that, bro, and love you too. Sam Evans, what it do, loved one? Young King, you say black is global. Black is global, bub. B1, right back to you. You already know. All right, Chris, I see you black first, man. Without a doubt. Raymond Skull say, man, no issues with any title that is claimed. No issues with any title that is claimed. Our people should realize that we all have more in common than we don't. No need to further divide ourselves over titles and ideas. And I tell y'all, man, appreciate that, Raymond Skull, for dropping that, man. Man, you make the Rays proud. You make your family proud, man, with that statement. That means a lot. It's very significant. Listen, man, that's the scheme. That's the game. That's part of the playbook. We often talk about their playbook. It's written in such a way to where they know in every chapter, no matter what it concerns that chapter, at the end or the beginning or in the middle, there's that phrase, that statement, that sentence, or that paragraph that says, keep them divided. Keep them tripping off of religious denominations, keep them, going back and forth over colors. Keep them tripping over money. That's their game, But the truth of the matter is, like the brother said, man, we have more in common than we don't. That's what we got to get to, man. Our commonality. And sometimes, and in some instances, it goes deeper than that melanated pigmentation. All right. It's also a mindset that has a lot to do with our spirits. It's about spirituality too, that connection, is that spirit resonating, man, with the ancestors, because that's where our knowledge and education is. It's in us. It's already there. A lot of us are under the impression that, man, in order to reach that level or that stage of spirituality, we have to study these texts, these scriptures and all this stuff. You know, our spirituality existed way before anything was written, before any of it was written. We have a long history, man. We have a long, rich, powerful, you know, a God-like history and existence, man. Ain't nobody like us. Ain't nobody like us. Yeah. So let's not divide ourselves over titles. They've been using that against us for a very long. They started with it first. When we got here, most of us, our ancestors knew who they were, where they came from, you know what I mean, and what that lineage was. Then they came and said, no, you a slave. No, matter of fact, you a ninja. No, then you a Negro. No, you colored. No, you Black American. No, you African American. Now we got FBA. No, you was indigenous, and no, you was native, and no, man, no. We was more than all of that. We are more than all of that combined. That does not hold the true meaning, you know, the understanding of who we are, you know, and what our histories, what our lineage, our identity is all about. None of that encompasses any of that. None of it. You want to do some surface shit? Go ahead. But like an onion, man, there's many layers to us, man. And that's what we have to do. We have to peel back these layers to get to who the hell we are. Because they didn't lay them up on top of us, one upon another. One upon, man, one upon another, layer upon layer upon layer. They didn't hit us with this BS. We waking up now, though. That's the beauty in that. That's the beauty in that. Yeah. Henry said, man, we build and made this country, period. We build and made the world. The world only functions because of our genius, our ingenuity, our innovation, our creativity, our spirits. We the only ones, man, ain't done no harm to nobody else, man. We the only ones who've been the most giving, the most loving, the most respectful, even when you didn't deserve respect. Even when you didn't deserve forgiveness, we forgave. Real spit, man. We did more than built this country. We actually set down the foundation, man, the blueprint, you know, in terms of how people should carry themselves, you know. And I think that because a lot of us realize spiritually, man, we know in our energy, they ain't picked up on it. And it's discouraging. So we tend to act like society act towards us. But we do that to each other rather than those who would discriminate against us, who would be biased against us, who would oppress us, who would harm us, kill us, rape us, you know, kidnap us. Real spit, man. Think about that. Think about that. Raymond Coleman said, man, Biddy Mason, that was the sister's name. And yeah, I'm remiss for not mentioning Biddy Mason. That was the sister I was talking about a couple of minutes ago who had to follow behind a wagon from Texas to Los Angeles on her feet, man. Free, didn't know she was free till she made it here and realized it and got herself free. So as a result of that, yeah, man, before you knew it, the woman was an entrepreneur and became a real estate magnate. You know what I mean? She bought up all the downtown. What they call downtown LA belonged to a sister by the name of Biddy Mason. And see, they want to talk about one Black Wall Street. You know, they want to, you know, that's how they do. You know, they'll give us a sliver, you know, a little slice of something, you know, in terms of, oh, yeah, well, that, you know, man, give us the whole pie. We were pushing lines like that all over this country. That's why this country is what it is, because again, of our innovation, our inventions, our you know, ingenuity, our spirit, you know, type of people we were. Without us, man, this country is nothing. And I'm telling y'all, man, the way to get this country to bow down and submit to us is to separate from this country, to show them. We have to show them. They don't think we got the wherewithal, the nerve, that we wouldn't dare. that we wouldn't dare demand separation, that we wouldn't dare go beyond talking about, civil rights. Damn that. What about human rights? That we wouldn't dare say, you know what, we're not a part of this program no more. They don't think we would dare. And, when it happens, it ain't about showing them nothing. It's about us being us. It's about us being responsible, us being accountable to our genetic makeup, man, who we are. I'm telling you what we're about, man. It speaks volumes. We're the only one who don't get it. We're the only ones who don't get it. We got to get to the know, man. We got to get to the identity of us. And again, it ain't necessarily to make nobody recognize that we're here. They know we're here better than we know. But it's to get to our true standing, to who the hell we are, man, as a people. Hey, man, it's even greater than that. It's greater than just, getting to us as a people. It's us getting back to the source. The source, that's where the power at, man. A lot of us don't know how to tap into the source. We tend to think the source is the brain or the beat of the heart. It's deeper than that. The source is the spirit. That's our true connection. That's what's going to lead us back to where, we can remember, we can recall, it's in the DNA, who we are and what we're supposed to be doing. What's our purpose? It ain't to show them up, man. We've already done that. Even under oppression, we've done that. While being oppressed, we've showed them up. That's not the reason, though. It's bigger than that. We got to get to that, man. We got to get to that. And I'm telling y'all, when that happens, the world will change. The world will change. And it will be how it's supposed to be. Straight up. Straight up. Raymond Scholes said, man, Biddy Mason did that. She was enslaved, gained freedom, and became wealthy. All right. I'm going to do a story on her. She was unbreakable and phenomenal. Phenomenal Black woman, queen, goddess. She did the damn thing at a time when that was, it wasn't unheard of, because trust and know, again, we had sisters and brothers all over this country doing, man, miraculous things, great things. I was saying a minute ago, they talk about Black Wall Street and they want to talk about Tulsa only. No, man. That shit was on a level, man, where it was all over this damn country. Our people were doing a thing, man, all over this country. Man. That's what we're about. That's what we need to get back to. Doing our thing, Raymond Scholes said, man, there was a podcast where white people were being condescending and not acknowledging us. And another white let that person know that Blacks created most everything we use in America. I think I saw that piece of content, brother. Excuse me, y'all. And they were benighted. In other words, they were ignorant. They didn't know the contributions of the melanated people to industrial as well as technological society. They didn't know that everything, let's say 97, 98% of everything that is here is because of us, our ancestors, our people. They didn't know, and they were shocked. They were shocked. Now I don't know if that would have, or if that created a different outlook or perspective from these individuals. I would tend to think not, because that's how they built. They're wired like that. They would, I think, as a result, they end up becoming more jealous and envious, especially finding out the truth. So a hate had already existed in them. Most of them don't know why they were brought up like that, but because that was in them, I think it's thick and as long as it had been, for them to find out the facts, it made it worse. We're going to always have some enemies, y'all. It's just what it is. And we ain't got to, I think, though, we should not worry about it. Always be vigilant. Be diligent, be mindful of these individuals, but let's not waste our energy on them. That's part of that game too, but part of that playbook. That's part of that distraction that's in effect, that's at work. That's energy and attention wasted, man, on something that's unworthy. You know, man, our purpose is greater than them, man. It's greater than the naysayers of them. You know, that's the truth, man. You appreciate that though, Roscoe. You can go on to say, man, as long as we're running around amok and unconfused, we'll always be disregarded. Our greatness will always be downplayed. Unity is the strength which get our greatness recognized. And again, yeah, man, it's gonna speak for itself. You know what I mean? It's they ain't gonna be able to deny it, you know. They won't be able to deny it. James says, listen here, man. I ride solo all the time unless I'm dipping with some homies or my loved ones. And on the streets, I only salute my black kings out there. I pay zero mind to Hispanics or Chicanos. I don't like them. All right. Hey, it is what it is. That means then, yeah, you see what you see, and there's no passes being given, you know. And this mentality, see, we get, again, there's a lot thrown at us to make us think that, oh man, this is an anomaly, you know, or this is not normal for them. It is. It is. The percentage of them that have real live respect and appreciation for the melanated king and queen, man, it's not, you know, a large percentage. It's not, you know, a lot of people, you know, it's not. A lot of them, because of the fact that we're waking up now, have went and done some research, and they're not happy with what they discovered. They can't be, because they thought it was something else, you know. And yeah, again, the coldest part about all this is we can all find our identity, our lineage. It can all be traced, you know. Don't allow, you know, yourselves to be told that it can't. So they've done it and they figured it out. They come across that Iberian, you know, the landmass. That's how they got here. Come out of Asia. They wasn't, you know, not born on this land like that. No, that's not where their inception or conception came from. You get it? But we were, you know, we were. And again, titles were stripped from us, erased, and we were relabeled, rebranded, you know, re-identified, you know. And this was a concerted effort, not just by the United States government, people. Don't get it twisted. You had those in South America doing the same thing, those in Mexico doing the same thing. They were trying to erase, you know, our heritage, our lineage, you know, to the land, you know. So yeah, man. Yeah. Raymond Scott said, man, most of our people still don't know about the voting process. Good topic, good comment. I'll tap in on that right quick. We need to educate ourselves and keep one another sharp. Hence the dynamic of this group. Thank you for that, Raymond Scott. Peace and prosperity, bro. Yeah, so they have these what they call midterms coming up. And a lot of our people are playing with them people. They're playing on the other side of the track, so to speak. They're on the other team, real spit. And they're leading our people down the wrong path, the wrong way. They lead them in the wrong direction. It's been said on this channel in the last few weeks, especially that we have to get to the point where where our votes cost. They cost. They aren't free. They aren't free for no candidate, no politician. It's not free. You know, put up or shut up. And that put up is first. What we don't got in our communities, that's what we want. Produce. We'll provide you votes. A certain amount, provided that you know you stay on this course with us. Our votes should be transactional. So that's when they really mean something, y'all. That's when they really mean something. You know, We tend to think that our votes only mean something because a politician gets up in campaigns and tell you everything you want to hear about your vote or what your vote would do for you. You know, that's like a layaway. It ain't layaway. That's just some shit he's selling or she's selling to get your vote. A promise that won't be kept. Look around us. In each and every one of our communities, man, where are we lacking at? Everybody should know that. That's easy. But we have politicians who said that they'll do better for us. And they've been saying this. This is a system. This is an operation that, you know, it's ongoing. You know, they go and they campaign, they tell us the same lies. In every voting cycle, we fall for it. This should be the year 2026 of accountability, not just from us, but those who say they got our best interests at heart. Hey, man, we're going to hold you accountable. And we're going to start first by saying, okay, produce. Oh, we're not worried about giving it to nobody else because the same go to them. The same would apply to them. And if you don't produce it, hey, man, you'll figure it out. You get, you know, boom. I tell you right now that most of them would think we're bluffing. You know, most of them would think we're bluffing, you know, and most of them, like most of them, they never come in. They do not come into the communities, the neighborhoods, the streets, the blocks, the sets and campaign. They don't. They have to be at an event that they set up, you know, and it costs them a couple million, whatever, you know, they spend money to get votes and they get nothing back. They only give the money to those people who help prop up the machine, you know, but hey, make them earn the vote. And the only way they can get it, man, is through a transaction, a structural transaction, a monetary transaction, an educational a transaction, you know, got to be give and take. Until we do that, man, look, hey, my suggestion is, man, hey, we've been saying, hey, man, no check, no vote, no reparations, no vote. Now, hey, man, no development, you know, you're not bringing development into the community. You're not bringing something viable to the community. No vote. And it's got to be before the election. You're not getting this vote for nothing, man. This is May. Elections are in November. Hey, put that stuff on the table, get that thing passed, man, and get the construction going, man, in the communities, bring something viable to the communities. Then we'll talk about votes. It's your job. You're already in there on the lie, you know. At the very least, do what you said you was going to do. Take care of that first. That's a start. That's a start. This voting process is a game. We got people like Cory Booker, Hakeem Jeffries, Jim Clyburn. I'll name others, and some of them you guys are not going to agree with, but they for sale. They're for sale. Most of these people are people. I'm not talking about nobody else. I'm not even concerned with nobody else. B1 is what I'm concerned with. Blacks. All right. Blacks being first. Hey, man, they go into this institution, this political arena. They going into it. None of them are millionaires. Their second, third year, they're on the road to being millionaires. Where's this money coming from? They don't pay that type of money as a House representative, as a rep, a congressperson, or a senator. They don't pay this type of money, man, as mayors and shit like that. Where is money coming from? That should tell us something off the bat, man, off the rip. These are corrupt people, man. They do not have our best interests at heart. Now, the only way to make them act right or get them right, man, is to let them know, man, the vote won't be yours. You won't be able to take it for granted any longer. And in fact, it's going to go beyond that. Not only will we stop voting, we're going to do a lot of other things, man, to upset your cart. That's the way that should be, man, because the process is corrupt. The process is corrupt. It just is. It's corrupt from the president on down. The whole process is corrupt. We got people influencing these politicians with money. See, we don't have no money. We don't have war chests of hundreds of millions of dollars to sponsor and donate to wannabe politicians. You know, we don't have that to dangle in their face and say, okay, do as we want. You'll do as we please and we'll pay you. We don't have that. So they go to those individuals who have that, these lobbyists. War chests, man, hundreds of millions of dollars. They pay them hundreds of millions of dollars. Well, let me take that back. Excuse me. They pay them millions of dollars to do their bidding. All right. Now, what they're paying these politicians, you guys, are crumbs in terms of what they're going to be asked to do. So when you see black politicians who support the Israeli regime in terms of billions, tens of billions of dollars for war or to oppress another race of people, that's what they get in return. They'll get $1 million, $500,000, while Israel gets tens of billions. Do the math, man. You know, that math ain't mathing, right? It ain't mathing. But that's what they selling out for. Them tens of billions that went over to Israel or any other country that is oppressing some people or colonizing some people, you know, or murdering people. That money could be used here in these United States. In every one of these 48 states, man, the 49th and the 50th, Hawaii and Alaska included, that could be used. We could have universal health care. Paid for. Same way they drudge up this money to send to Israel, you can have that same process happen to where they can make sure that universal health care is paid for. What is the other one? Social Security is paid for. Education is paid for. Hey, man, homelessness is taken care of. Mental health issues or crises are dealt with. Poverty is eliminated. Come on, man. We're participating in a corrupt institution or a corrupt process, and it doesn't make sense, man, for us not to know this, especially as black folk. We know all the tricks of the trade, everything that we done to a human being, they've done. What we see going on over there in the Middle East, Israel, killing off Palestinians in Gaza or killing off Lebanese, you know, in Lebanon. They did that to us here too in the United States, man. All right. They've done that all over the world. And people are supporting this shit. Come on, y'all, wake up. That process that they call voting, it's a gimmick, man. It's a gimmick. It's a gimmick mostly because a lot of us don't even know what the hell is going on. We've been played. We're being played. We don't even understand our power. As human beings, we don't understand, man, what we could actually do to reshape or change, paradigms, situations, issues, circumstances. Our power is there, man. We just don't know it. And we don't know it because, again, we're being distracted by so much garbage. we're being distracted, and we're being divided. A whole lot is going on. A whole lot is going on. That's on us. That's on us. That thing going to continue to run the way it runs until we decide that it's time to shut it down. You look at Donald Trump. Donald Trump don't respect not one American citizen. Latest polls show that over 65, 66%, 67% of the American public, that would include everybody, man, do not agree with one, do not agree with that war. Two, do not agree with the economy. Do not agree with how he's dealing with jobs, healthcare, unemployment. This is the people talking. Do you think he care? Why don't he care? Because the people ain't figure out how to wield their power. And we haven't figured out how to wield our power because they have designed ways to keep us distracted. We're not able to focus on the focus, man, because it's got so much garbage in our faces, you know. But that being said, man, let me move on, man. Let me jump up in these comments, man. Shit. Don't get me started, y'all. Don't get me started. B60 said, man, I like the way you handled the person who said we don't have anything. We didn't have anything in Africa and was glad to be stolen away. You educated him with the utmost respect. Appreciate that, bro. Raymond Cole said, man, this country never intended for us to have an identity. The truth is the Constitution. The truth is the Constitution, the Voting Act, and Civil Rights Bill was a hoax to keep us content on paper. Continue. Those ideas are in abstract. This is why we can't get certain rights now. We're still considered as chattel property. All right. Not actual humans. Property don't have rights. And again, we mentioned this last week. I did about the Constitution and how it identifies us, melanated people, as 3/5 a human being. And I've always said, hey, man, until that changes, this won't change. That's part of it. That's part of it. Now, you just mentioned the voting rights bill, right? And something significant just happened, man. I don't know if everybody knows that. The Civil Rights Bill, the Voting Rights Act, Supreme Court just pretty much knocked that down last week. Knocked it down. Republicans right now are scrambling to redline shit again. Gerrymander, excuse me. They're drawing up whole new districts. And in that, the effect of that, actually, it nullifies the black vote. It takes the black vote away from the black person, from any black who want to vote, especially us, you know, real live blacks that have been here forever. You know, we come from, you know, generations of being here. Yeah, Supreme Court just pushed that. And the coldest part about it, you had 2 melanated people on the Supreme Court panel, and they voted with that. Some cold stuff. So in due time, man, the vote's not going to matter anyway, right? Our vote's not going to matter anyway. Like Raymond Skoll just said, man, we've already been designated as chattel, as property. So it really don't matter to them. Let's test the water, though. I say, let's not vote unless we get something before we do. I already know what the outcome of that would be. We won't get a damn thing. We won't get one youth center, one STEM center, nothing. We won't get anything, man. You know, doesn't matter. Then how do we combat this issue? Our dollars, man, are the most important thing we possess other than ourselves, you know. But our dollars is what makes this country function. Y'all got to see this shit, man. 1.5 trillion. Again, that's greater than a lot of European countries' GDP, man. You know, their budgets combined. You can put a lot of them in there. They don't spend 1.5 trillion a year. That would include their military jobs, whatever. That's our strength also. That's a weapon. We don't use it, though. We weaponize our dollars, man. We change some shit quicker than the vote. Trust that. Yeah, appreciate that, Raymond. Rakufu, what it do, man? Rakufu said, man, they executed their own lawyer, murdered Huey Newton, and ran prisons like chattels, like cartels. The BGF story, bub. Please play it 15. Please play 15 minutes of this. Type it into your YouTube. I'll get to that. I got some shit lined up, man. I'm going to drop this. I'm going to drop one. Matter of fact, you make sure you send the right get down for me so I can put it in there correctly. I guess, is that the name of it? They executed their own lawyer, murdered Huey Newton, and ran prisons like cartels. The BGF story. You let me know if that's the correct title, so when I go in there, I ain't got to look for it. It just pop right up. Raymond Skoll said, yes, man, separation would be our strength. They got a view of our capabilities on our own. Tulsa, Wilmington, St. Louis, and other black communities that thrived before they destroyed them. They know. Real spit, bro. And Raku I just used the word already, Rakufu. Appreciate you dropping the word for the day, man. From Rakufu is paradigm shift. And there are so many different paradigms. They're not all one, but they have significant meaning. Yeah. You drop that in the sentence as you should. Lisa Moore said, man, YC people learn from OC people. That's why it's good to separate from these people, because they mean us no good. We need to build our own. We need to have our own. I got some stuff for us, man. I've talked long enough. I'm trying to figure out why my damn thing. Oh, there you go. All right. I'm trying to look for my time. All right, there we go. There we go. Damn, I've been talking that long. Okay, yeah, good point though, Lisa Moore. Appreciate you, Queen. Rakufu says science. The discovery triggered a paradigm shift in how the discipline conceptualizes reality. All right, there was a sentence in terms of how to use it. Rakufu also says, man, Biddy Mason plaque is on the wall downtown Los Angeles. They have a whole wall dedicated to her off Broadway and 3rd. I believe you can Google it. Read her, and you can Google it to read her autobiography. Thank you for that information, bro. Thank you for that. Raymond Scholes said, man, I feel the root of their conflict with us is envy of our lower region as men. Also, they know we have the ability to genetically annihilate them. They know, and that's a fear they have, and that's the truth. That's also truth. Rakufu said 26 of the 34 families that founded Los Angeles were or was of African Black descent. You can find this on a plaque on Alvaro Street in downtown Los Angeles too, or Google it. 26 of the 34 families that founded Los Angeles were of African Black descent, people. 26. That's more than 2/3. All right. That's how we got down. Raymond Scholes said, man, as I said, property don't have rights. So we have to figure out how to get the human recognition. A bro from Chicago said we have to go to civil court and ask for our freedom. It's deep, bro. Yeah, it's probably more than just asking for it, you know what I mean? Because you got to jump through a lot of loops and hoops to get to that point, man. That's what I've been discovering over the years. But good point. You say it's deep, bro. Okay, touching on the vote. Remember, it was illegal for us to vote. I feel like it was meant for whites only because this country was intended to serve their interests. America is a republic, but that encompasses a democracy. It's for elected officials to choose other elected officials in their union. This voting process, laws, and so forth is for them and them only. That's the truth. That is the truth. You're going to say, I feel Black politicians are being puppeteers or puppets, you know, who see what it is, but are too misfocused to realign themselves with truth. I don't think it's about misfocus with them, Roscoe. I say this. I think it's about greed. I think it's about them accepting the status quo. It's about them accepting or realizing that they would rather be on that side than this. You know, I think it's about them saying, hey, man, I like this life. You know, I like getting money under the table, you know, that I ain't got to explain or account for. I like, you know, what's going on because I'm a part of it. I don't have to go through what they're going through. That's what it is, you know, in my opinion. That's what it is. All right, let me drop this clip right quick because I found it very interesting. Like I said, I hope this is the right one. 1 second, everybody. Let me drop this up in here. Let's see. Let's see if that's to get in. Oh, yeah, you're going to love it. Hold on. Let me share it. All right, hold on. Make sure I got this right, y'all. Don't make no mistakes. Make no mistakes. All right, boom. Let me sure. All right, here we go. Uh-oh. Hold on. Let me find the volume on this thing. There you go.
Chapter 82, verse 6. Ye are gods. Ye are sons of the Most High. But you are God. Well, what do that mean, Yaki? I'm a God. Like God in the sky? No, God in the sky is in you. You are God. Book of Psalms, chapter 82, verse 6. Ye are gods, ye are sons of the Most High, but you will fall like princes. And it's for our iniquities, it's for our violations against the.
Hold on. It says black on black homicide in the U.S. is a crucial issue where 80 to 90% of black victims are killed by other black individuals, with high rates often linked to socioeconomic factors, poverty, and environmental stressors. Homicide is the leading cause of death for young black men, with firearm violence causing over 55,000 deaths from 2020 to 2024, man. Golly. 55,000 of our brothers, man, by our hand. They ain't got to do that to us no more. We do it to each other.
Natural order. You're a God. You're the reflection of God. You're the image of God. Once you realize that you're a God, you will have to hold yourself to that standard of being God. What is God? God is generator. God is operator. And God is also destroyer. Which part of that God are you activating? Are you going around destroying things and not rebuilding? Or are you going around generating things and not giving it over to the masses? Or are you operating out of your righteous mind or out of your sinful mind? You know, what are you doing for your community? And most importantly, what are you doing for yourself? Once you get that God title, God means power. It's called El in Hebrew. El. And you have that power. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to create? You're going to build? Or you're going to destroy? Once you realize that you're a God and you hold yourself to that high caliber, now it's time to start doing something with it. Because God have a God diet. God have a God language. If you walk around every day like you God, you're going to speak different. You're going to look at life different. You're going to make sure what you put in your mouth is different, because this is a God temple. I can't put nothing in this that's going to disrespect God. This is a God mouth. I only speak words that create. Abracadabra is a Hebrew word. It means I create what I speak. Every time I speak, I'm going to create something positive. This is a God. I'm only going to deal with godly women, whether you're a woman. I'm only going to deal with a godly man. Once you start operating from the God mind, or what I call the Yah mind, your whole life changed. What I got to say to the young in the hood, you're God. Peace, God. And from that conversation can turn into anything. Peace, God. And usually when you say peace, God, that's what changed them anyway. They were like, you call me a God?
To build is to elevate the mentalities of self and those around self. To add positive energy to every nation. To build, you must first start from the root, which is the knowledge foundation, and add on to the highest peak. To destroy is to eliminate and destroy any and all negativity that enters my cipher of supreme harmony. Peace, God. Peace, God.
Man, gotta love it, man. And you can't tell me that ain't fire, man. That if that don't light a fire in you, that don't burn you right, man. Something wrong with you. And this is what they don't want us to know. This is what they don't want us to connect with. You know? We're gods, man. We have the God gene. Man, Henry Costello said, man, was that another attempt to unalive Donald Trump today? Again? I don't know, man. I'm right quick on that note. I think this is all staged, man, because he's trying to get sympathy. He's trying to, I think, corral people around him, you know, to support him, feel bad for him, you know. That's what I think. I think all this stuff is staged. That brother, I watched that video of that brother, and his name was his last name is Allen. His middle name is Thomas, last name Allen. I forgot his first name, but that something didn't seem right about none of that, man. It just didn't. It just didn't. I don't know, man. I don't know. Nothing seemed right about it, man. And all them shots fired, man, and they didn't even hit that dude. I mean, I'm just saying that brother. And then they say he let off a shot. Come to find out he didn't. He didn't discharge a shot from that gauge. There's too many conflicting stories about this stuff, man. Too many. I don't know. But I don't know about another attempt today. Damn. Raymond Scott said, man, I feel black politicians are being puppeteers who see what it is, but are too misfocused to realign themselves with truth. Okay, I got that part. And you going to say the solution, blacks need to pull all of our resources together, keep our mode of action quiet, educate ourselves on our current situation. Yeah, I agree. Yes. Rakufu said yes. Yes, correct title. Yeah, man. I got another one. Okay, you saying yes, correct title to what you named me, Rakufu. I got you. I'll go drudge that up right quick. Let me see. I got another one. Hold on. Let me see something. No, I don't want that one. Ah, this is a good one. Hold on. Can I start that over? Oh, shit. I can't even start that thing over, man. That's bad. I don't like that. Going back up in here. Hold on. And again, man, we got to, let me stop sharing that. We got to start paying attention, y'all, to these signs, man. All right, let's play this one right quick. Oh, shit. Let's see. Yep, there you go. Get a bar of this one. I don't know if we're going to start from the beginning, but hold on. Oh, I'm sitting up here looking at this
Were
thing.
swept away by the mud floods. The state required a new population to fill the void. This was the era of the orphan trains and the human incubators. They brought in what we might call the Cabbage Patch Kid. Cabbage Patch Kids are genetically reorganized entities and clones designed to repopulate and reorganize America into a corporate meritocracy, while the true masters were re-educated into amnesia.
All the gods you hear about were in America. Hanuman, Krishna, and Buddha were all Moors of the original Asiatic race right here. Yeshua and Hannibal didn't walk the sands of a foreign desert. They were the Asiatic masters of this soil. Troy was here. All the movies, the legends, the spectacles.
All the mythology gods, everything, every damn thing. They are talking about Etruscan or Moorish theology, not some fairy tale from across the sea. These structures were already built by your ancestors before the invaders ever arrived.
Einstein admitted it to me in secret. He said his own Jewish science was limited, a mere concealment of the true light found in the Asiatic black man.
You keep being told you came from somewhere else, but our blood and bones were already in this ground. This land knew us before the slave ships ever sailed. Even President Kennedy, moments before they silenced.
Do not let them trademark your identity with labels like African, which is merely a Latin word describing a Carthaginian province, not a nationality.
We are not all the same, and we are certainly not all African. To call yourself African is to adopt a Latin word meant to describe a single Carthaginian province. It is not a nationality for a sovereign people. There were many different tribes, millions of us, right here on this soil.
This is not an attack on my good African brothers and sisters, but I am talking to you African sellouts that come to our country and work with the same colonial powers that stole our land in the first place.
The men and women we have long described as Negro, as colored, as African American. Through the years, these names have been altered and misused. They should never be allowed to diminish your equal place.
This is the real Mauritania. Thousands of those so-called Indian tribes, the Blackfoot, the Choctaw, the Yamasee, those were us. They were the original proprietors of this soil who were simply redesignated as Indians in 1621 to steal their inheritance.
Those we have been coerced into calling black or African American are not African. It is quite simply ignorant and foolish. They were already here. So-called black Americans are the indigenous proprietors of this landmass. And this continent is, in fact, the ancient Carthage of the West.
But the history books are a lie designed to keep the original man in a state of mental death. You see these buildings? You see that obelisk behind me? On the 17th floor of that monument is an inscription from the Ottoman Sultan, because they know who really owns this ground. This is the black man's land, the ancient Carthage of the West, the real Mauritania.
We were already here. You were aboriginal to this soil. You heard Kennedy. He told you that you were the rightful heirs and proprietors of this republic. And that is precisely why they took him out. They couldn't let the original masters wake up.
You are the majority. Here in the...
All right. I just wanted to drop them, man. I thought it was necessary. So when we're talking about, man, who we are, our identity has been intentionally kept from us so that we would go along with calling ourselves what we call ourselves. And again, we had this conversation a week or so ago where we use phrases, titles, and labels that were given to us from other people who don't want us to know who we truly are. That's a problem. That's a problem. And now we got all this other stuff coming into play, FBA and all this, in 5 years it'll be something else, But aside from all that, let's say, hey, man, one thing we can agree on is, especially those of us who are here, who've been here through lineage, who know, who just know, man. We are melanated people. We still one people. Like Malcolm said, it's not a knock against our brothers and sisters, them kings and queens across the water. It's not. But we're going to call a duck and a spade. We were here before all of them. Each and every one of them. We were already here. And how is it that then we can allow ourselves to be labeled by them who came after we did, Something's wrong, man. And we got to get to that. We got to get to the point or the part where we recognize who the hell we are. And in that, we are able to stop a lot of what we see taking place. But again, it has to start with us first. The brother just talked about us being gods and goddesses, and we don't even know that shit. We got, man, since 2020 to 2024, 55,000 of our brothers have died at the hand of another brother. 55,000. Come on, man. If that, not only should it hurt our hearts, our souls, we should be embarrassed. We should be ashamed, man, that a number like that even exists. This is why they treat us the way we do. Because we've fallen into this trap, man. We've allowed them, man, to mislead us, man. And that misleading that led us against one another. When if we're going to be, going against somebody, who should it be against? Not each other. That's for sure. That's for sure. That is for sure. Let me find that Rakufu. Yeah, we should be ashamed, man. All right. They executed their own. Okay. Lawyer. I'm gonna bring that up right quick, man. Let's see what that thing look like. 15 minutes, a long time. All right. All right, let me drop that in there, man, Rakufu. Let me see if I can find that. And is that YouTube or Instagram, bro? YouTube. Okay, got you. Let me jump up in there right quick. No, I don't want to use that one. Hold on. I'll use this one. All right. Hold on. Be patient with me, everybody. I'm typing something in the toolbar. And I want to bring this up. Brother recommended it. Let's see what it's about. Might be very informative. We don't want to miss this, man. I got a feeling it's going to be very informative. All right. BGF story. All right, let's see. Let's go and see what that is, man. 1 second, everybody. Up, came right up on that dizzle. First 15 minutes. All right, we're gonna put that up in there. Hold on. We ain't gonna do all that though. Let me finish running that. All right. Hold on. All right. Let me bring this in and get down, man. One more. All right, here you go, Rakufu.
Berkeley, California, May 28th, 1979, 11 p.m. Faye Stender answers her doorbell. A young woman in a blue hoodie. The woman steps aside. Behind her, Edward Glenn Brooks, 26 years old, recently paroled, a .38 revolver in his hand. He forces his way inside, ties up her 20-year-old son, her daughter, her lover, marches Faye to a desk in her bedroom. Write it down, he says. She refuses. He cocks the gun. She writes, I, Faye Stender, admit I betrayed George Jackson and the prison movement when they needed me most. 5 bullets, point blank range, paralyzed from the waist down, dead by suicide 1 year later in Hong Kong. But this story doesn't start here. It starts 8 years earlier. San Quentin State Prison, August 21st, 1971. George Jackson runs across the prison yard. A 9mm pistol pulled from his afro. 3 guards already dead behind him. Tower guards take aim. 1 shot, he falls. The woman Brooks just executed, she was Jackson's lawyer. She made him famous, published his book, raised hundreds of thousands for his defense. The Black Guerrilla family, Jackson's creation, marked her for death. Los Angeles, September 18th, 1960. George Jackson walks into a Standard Oil gas station, 18 years old, born in Chicago, raised in Watts, a string of juvenile convictions already behind him. He pulls a gun, demands money, $71. That's it, $71. His court-appointed lawyer cuts a deal, plead guilty, light sentence, county jail time, maybe a year. Jackson takes it. December 1960. The judge hands down the sentence, 1 year to life, indeterminate. The judge points to Jackson's record: armed robbery, assault, burglary. At 18, George Jackson enters the California prison system. He will never leave. 7.5 of the next 10 years, solitary confinement. 23 hours a day in a concrete box. No sunlight, no human contact, nothing but time and rage. But something happens in that box. 1966, San Quentin State Prison. Jackson meets W.L. Nolan, 20 years old, convicted armed robber, but Nolan is different. He reads Marx, Lenin, Mao. He's filed lawsuits against the prison, claims guards are fomenting racial violence, leaving black inmates' cells unlocked so whites can attack them. Nolan hands Jackson a book, then another, then another. Jackson later writes, I met Marx, Lenin, Trotsky, Engels, and Mao when I entered prison, and they redeemed me. The gas station robber becomes a revolutionary, but it's not just books, it's survival. San Quentin in the 60s, a race war. The prison system just desegregated. Black inmates, white inmates, thrown together for the first time. Guards standing back, watching, waiting. Nolan tells Jackson, we need to organize. We need structure. We need a family. 1966, San Quentin State Prison, George Jackson, W.L. Nolan, George Big Jake Lewis. They found the Black Guerrilla Family, not a gang, a revolutionary organization. The mission, promote Black power, maintain dignity in prison, overthrow the United States government. Their symbol, a black dragon climbing a San Quentin prison tower. The letters BGF, the numbers 276. Their oath, blood in, blood out. Their enemy, everyone. The California Department of Corrections, the guards, the white supremacist gangs forming on the other side of the yard, the Aryan Brotherhood, the Mexican Mafia. But the BGF is different. They study Marxist-Leninist theory. They educate inmates. They build what Jackson calls a prison arm of the Black Power movement. Jackson starts writing letters to his family, to activists on the outside, to a young UCLA professor named Angela Davis. The letters are angry, brilliant, raw, and someone is paying attention.
If you help people make big life transitions and you actually want to make a way bigger impact this year, there's one thing.
A lawyer named Faye Stender reads Jackson's letters. She sees something, a voice, a mind, a weapon. She approaches Jackson with an idea: publish the letters, make him famous, turn a prisoner into a symbol. Jackson agrees. But first, something happens that will change everything. January 13th, 1970, Soledad State Prison. W.L. Nolan, Jackson's mentor, his teacher, his brother, is released into the exercise yard after 2 months of lockdown. 14 black inmates, 2 white inmates, an expert marksman guard in the tower with a rifle. A fight breaks out. The guard opens fire. No warning shot. 3 black inmates dead. W.L. Nolan, Cleveland Edwards, Alvin Miller. George Jackson hears the news in his cell. The revolution just became personal. January 16th, 1970, 3 days after the shooting, a Monterey County grand jury convenes. Officer Opie G. Miller sits before them. The man who fired 4 shots from a tower, the man who killed 3 black inmates, the ruling justifiable homicide, no black inmates permitted to testify, no investigation, no consequences. The inmates at Soledad hear it on the prison radio. 2:30 p.m., 30 minutes later, a guard named John V. Mills is found dying in Y Wing, George Jackson's cell block, beaten, thrown from the 3rd floor tier to the television room below. A note beside his body: 1 down, 2 to go. February 14th, 1970. George Jackson is charged with murder, 1st degree, along with 2 other inmates, Fleta Drumgo and John Clutchett, the Soledad brothers. If convicted, they face the gas chamber. But something else is happening. Faye Stender, Jackson's lawyer, publishes his prison letters. Soledad Brother, the prison letters of George Jackson. She convinces French intellectual Jean Genet to write the introduction. The book sells 400,000 copies. Jackson becomes a celebrity, a symbol, the revolutionary prisoner, and he catches the attention of a 26-year-old UCLA philosophy professor, Angela Davis, communist, Black Panther, activist. She joins the Soledad Brothers Defense Committee. They begin writing letters. His are angry, passionate, tactical. Hers are careful at first, then something shifts. Davis later admits a deep affection. The prosecution will call it something else: obsession, love, a passion that knew no bounds. Jackson's 17-year-old brother Jonathan is watching. He worships George, reads every letter, attends every rally. Jonathan sees his brother facing death. He sees the courts doing nothing. He decides to act. August 5th, 1970, 2 days before the attack, Angela Davis walks into a San Francisco pawn shop, buys a shotgun. The barrel is sawed off. August 7th, Marin County Courthouse, San Rafael, California. Jonathan Jackson walks into a courtroom. James McClain is on trial. Assault on a prison guard. Jonathan is wearing a raincoat despite the heat. Under it, guns, lots of guns. 10:45 a.m., Jonathan stands up, pulls out an assault rifle. Freeze! He arms McLean, frees 2 other inmates from the holding cell. William Christmas, Rushel Magee, takes hostages. Judge Harold Haley, District Attorney Gary Thomas, 3 jurors. Jonathan's demand, free the Soledad brothers, free George Jackson. They move toward the parking lot, a yellow van waiting. Guards swarm, shots fired. The district attorney grabs a gun, starts shooting inside the van. Guards open fire from outside. 17-year-old Jonathan Jackson is killed. Judge Haley dies. A sawed-off shotgun taped to his neck discharged during the chaos. James McLean, William Christmas, both dead. 4 bodies, 3 survivors. And Angela Davis, her guns, her name on the purchase receipts. She runs FBI's 10 most wanted list, captured 2 months later in New York. Back in his cell, George Jackson receives the news. His baby brother, dead at 17, expecting a child he'll never meet. Jackson dedicates his next book to Jonathan, the man-child who died on the trigger, courage in one hand, assault rifle in the other. The California prison system is burning. In 19 months following Nolan's death, 40 people murdered, 19 directly linked to that January day in the yard. The Soledad brothers case becomes a rallying cry. Celebrities, activists, Jane Fonda, Marlon Brando, everyone demanding justice. But George Jackson isn't waiting for justice anymore. He's planning something else. Faye Stender isn't supposed to be a radical. Born 1932, conservative Jewish family, San Francisco, middle class. Her parents want her to be a concert pianist. Instead, she becomes a lawyer. Civil rights, prisoner advocacy. Berkeley in the 60s, she represents Black Panthers. Huey Newton, the most dangerous cases nobody else will touch. 1970, she reads George Jackson's letters from prison, hundreds of pages, raw, angry, brilliant. She sees an opportunity. Stender approaches Jackson with a proposal. Let me publish these, turn you into a symbol, a voice for the movement. Jackson agrees. Stender works for months, editing, organizing. She convinces Jean Genet, the French intellectual, to write an introduction. Legitimacy, prestige. October 1970. Soledad Brother, the prison letters of George Jackson, hits shelves. It sells 400,000 copies. Jackson becomes a celebrity overnight. The revolutionary prisoner, the philosopher in chains. The book generates massive proceeds. Stender sets up a legal defense fund, hundreds of thousands of dollars, all for the Soledad brothers' defense. She's made him famous, made him powerful, made him untouchable, but Jackson wants more. The request starts small.
Let me show you how to go from a sketch of an idea to a real working app in Airtable within minutes.
Extra visits, better access, then they escalate. Bring me a gun, smuggle in explosives, help me escape. Stender refuses. She's a lawyer, an officer of the court. She believes in the system, broken as it is. She believes in legal defense, appeals, public pressure. Jackson doesn't believe in any of that anymore. The falling out is bitter, personal. Jackson feels betrayed. The woman who made him famous won't help him fight. Stender steps back from the case. 1972. She leaves the movement entirely, returns to civil law, tries to build a normal life, but the Black guerrilla family doesn't forget. 1974. A BGF document circulates in San Quentin, 22 pages. It reads, "Our support has been destroyed by the vultures who call themselves movement lawyers." Stender isn't named. She doesn't have to be. Everyone knows. The BGF's Revolutionary Corps has made a judgment. Faye Stender betrayed George Jackson, betrayed the movement. The sentence, death. They wait 5 years, 6, 7, 8. May 28th, 1979. Edward Glenn Brooks gets paroled, 26 years old, BGF member. He's been out less than a month. 11 p.m., Stender's Berkeley home. Brooks rings the doorbell. Her son Neil answers, 20 years old. Brooks pushes past him, gun drawn, rounds up the family. Neil, Stender's daughter, her lover, Joan Morris. He marches Faye to her bedroom, forces her to sit at a desk. Write it, he orders. She refuses. He aims the gun at her head. She writes, I, Faye Stender, admit I betrayed George Jackson and the prison movement when they needed me most. Brooks pockets the confession, demands money, $10 between them. Then he shoots her 5 times, point blank. Stender survives, paralyzed from the waist down, constant pain, nerve damage. She testifies against Brooks in January 1980. He gets 17 years, but Stender can't live with it. The pain, the fear, the knowledge that the movement she dedicated her life to wants her dead. May 1980, Hong Kong. Faye Stender takes her own life, 48 years old. The revolution has claimed another victim, but Brooks, March 1984, Folsom Prison. 2 inmates attack him, stab him 9 times. A fight between BGF factions. Even the executioner gets executed. The Black guerrilla family doesn't forgive, and it doesn't forget, not even its own. August 21st, 1971, San Quentin State Prison, 2:25 p.m. George Jackson's attorney arrives, Stephen Bingham, 29 years old, Yale graduate, civil rights lawyer, grandson of a U.S. senator. Bingham carries a briefcase. Inside, legal documents, research materials, and a tape recorder. Guards search it, cursory check. They miss something, or maybe they don't. Bingham meets with Jackson in the visiting room. 15 minutes. They sit across a wooden table, no barrier between them. Guards observe intermittently. 2:40 p.m. The meeting ends. Jackson is escorted back to the adjustment center. Maximum security, the worst of the worst. Officer Urbano Rubiaco performs a strip search. Standard procedure. He notices something in Jackson's hair, under his afro pick. What's that? Jackson pulls out a 9mm Astra pistol, aims it at the guards. This is it. He fires. Officer Frank DeLeon, 44 years old, dead. Jackson forces the remaining guards to open the cells. 26 inmates flood the tier. Some join him, others are forced. The adjustment center descends into chaos. Sergeant Jerry Graham, 39 years old, killed. Officer Paul Cressines, 52 years old, killed. Guards' throats slashed. Hugo Pinnell, one of the inmates, uses a makeshift weapon. Then Jackson runs out of the adjustment center, across the open yard, toward the outer wall. 21 feet high, tower guards open fire. First shot misses, second shot hits. Jackson falls face down on the concrete. 29 years old, dead. 3 guards murdered, 2 inmates killed in the chaos. 6 others charged. Fleeta Drumgo, David Johnson, Hugo Pinnell, Johnny Spain, Willie Tate, Louis Talamantes, the San Quentin 6. But Stephen Bingham, he's gone. Fled his Berkeley apartment within hours. By midnight, he's out of California. The FBI issues a warrant. Murder, conspiracy, smuggling a weapon into a prison. Bingham surfaces briefly. Prague, 1971, then Hungary, Yugoslavia. Eastern Europe doesn't have extradition treaties. He lives under the name Robert Bortz. Tourist. American dollars keeping him afloat. 1974, Paris. He disappears into the city, works odd jobs illegally, learns French, keeps his head down. 13 years underground. July 9th, 1984. Bingham surrenders. San Francisco. He's ready to stand trial. His defense team argues a conspiracy. Prison guards gave Jackson the gun. They wanted the revolutionary dead. They set up Bingham to take the fall. The evidence, the gun doesn't fit. Ballistics experts testify a 9mm Astra is too large for the tape recorder Bingham carried, too large to hide under Jackson's afro. So how did Jackson get it? Nobody knows. April 1986, Marin County Superior Court, 10-week trial. The jury deliberates 6 days. June 28th. Verdict, not guilty.
If you're not using.
Well, I didn't expect nothing less than a not guilty plea. I appreciate that, Rakufu. It's good to share that, man, with a lot of brothers, man. That was some serious times back then. Soledad, man, Quentin, Folsom. You know, a lot of popular names of names that should be recognized by a lot of us, man. Man, what made you bring that up? What was you what you been looking at today, man? Make you want to check that one out? I mean, interesting as it is, though, you know, as interesting as it is. What we got here? Uh-oh, getting short of time, but that was a good 16 minutes there, boy. It's all good, man. Yeah. Revolution, man. You got to go about shit different, man. You got to be different. Raymond Scott said, yeah, man, with the inquiry, excuse me, of our freedom, yeah, it's more than just asking. Paperwork has to be filled out and a declaration too. Yeah, like I've said about that, I did a little research on that, and it's kind of deep. And you got to jump through a lot of hoops, and the shit got to be correct. Any mistakes, any errors, man, they be like, get out of here. All right, Henry Sadello said, man, I call my brother son because he shines like one. And peace to the gods and earth. Oh, yeah, man, that brother's deep, man. He the one I told you about, bub. Dr. Yaki. He is versed in that human anatomy and physiology, excuse me. I'm going to say, man, some young guys got into it over the weekend. A mother egged it on after the prom. They came through. The youngsters returned fire and unalived his mother. It's wild out here. Damn. Rakufu said, Bub, that's AI. Yeah, but what made you think about the story? Why was it of interest? And because I'm pretty sure you know the story, but what made you think to say, man, let's put this on the get down? Why did you think it was important to share? You know, that's what I'm asking. Brother Malcolm X, man. Malcolm was spitting too. Rakufu said, Bub, that video you played, check it. It is AI, nothing Kennedy or Malcolm speaking on in that video. Now, to be quite frank, bro, I have seen some legitimate footage on Kennedy speaking about blacks and our rights as human beings. Now, a lot of people, I think a lot of people get it twisted when they talk about his assassination, and they put into the get down the reason for his assassination was because he went against the mob and not wanting to turn Cuba or Havana into a Las Vegas. That wasn't the issue. The issue was exactly what it was, that he began to speak out about, you know, the treatment of blacks here in the United States and the fact that the black hat people were trying to steal our identity. This is a fact. It's actually documented. He did that. He had that conversation. You know, Malcolm spoke about a lot of other things too, in terms of what we is or who we are, where we come from. Now, you know, if you notice too, though, with Malcolm changed, man, after his trip to Mecca. You know, a lot of people understand that too, man. He began his whole, damn, it was like overnight he re-educated himself, and you got to tip your hat to that. You know, just in terms of Kennedy, though, I'm pretty sure Kennedy made these statements. He had issues. And this is why I tell you, a lot of elders back in the day, I didn't understand it then, but I do now, you know, in my later years, why they gave him so much praise. You know, he was actually an advocate for the melanated black man and woman here in the United States. And that was something that a lot of people didn't, you know, they didn't appreciate that shit. In fact, his brother was trying to get him not to, you know, advocate for us. Like, don't worry about it. They'll find a way. They'll take care of themselves. You just do, you know, the people's work, the white people work. And he wasn't having that like that, man. And as a result, You know, again, yeah, they'll twist the narrative. You know, they'll, you know, spit a different narrative. Well, he was executed because the mob didn't agree with him not agreeing with turning Havana into another Las Vegas. You know what I mean? A lot of money to be made. That was also, you know, there was also truth in that. Not only that, but the fact that when Castro and them took over, they took ownership of American companies, Chiquita Banana, you know, all those, you know, Del Monte, I think that's the name of the brand. But they nationalized these American companies, and they were out of money, a lot of money, and that was an issue too. But yeah, man, as far as his advocacy, man, for blacks in America, that's a fact. That is a fact. You say it's AI. Okay. You're going to say, man, I am not a God or Yahweh or Allah, and I uncut non-half-breed, real original African. I am not a God, your Yahweh or Allah. I am a uncut non-half-breed, real original African. All right. Nothing wrong with that. Fact of the matter, though, no matter how we slice it, dice it, cut it up, one thing is a fact, man. We do come from that source. And that's all I ever I advocate, I speak of. You know what I mean? How we got here, I don't know. One thing's a fact, though. We come there. We come from there. That's, you know, can't nobody dispute that. Why? Why would they? You know what I mean? Everything points to that. You know, it's, you know, come on. You know, we all come from that source. So you say, I don't know, Bub, but I don't know, Bub. It was good to watch. Yeah, it was. All right, you're going to say, no, my video is not an AI. The BGF video really happened. I know that Malcolm X was being schooled by Dr. Henry Clark and was about to turn Afrocentric. Another look. And so a lot of us don't really understand why Malcolm was taken out. A lot of them don't really know. Part of it was his reawakening. You know what I mean? We got to acknowledge that, man. But Malcolm has said basically that he had been misled. And then you couple that with the fact that his being misled, that, you know, in terms of us as a people, he saw it differently than, you know, the schoolings or the teachings. He wanted something more for us. In fact, yeah, he had started his own organization, and I read that book. I think it was his autobiography, if I remember correctly. But he had started to talk about shit totally different or separate from his earlier teachings and shit, right? He had went straight, yeah, Pan-African, you know, if you can call it that. And I respected that. You know, his whole outlook had changed. You know, he was on some more shit, man. And he knew shit. He knew shit about people he shouldn't have known. You know what I mean? That was a part of it as well. He became a threat, man. And not just to the order, but to, you know, the FBI and others, you know. So yeah, man, another good one lost. Raymond Scholes says, man, what was the name of that clip, bub? Which one, bro? Which clip? Are you talking about the brother he was calling us gods? I know I didn't get rid of it. Where the hell is it? Damn. Hold on. Nah, not that one. I don't. Where that thing go, man? God dang. I didn't lost it, Raymond Skull. I got it though. I'll figure it out. Oh, wait. Yeah, there you go. Hold on. Let me show it to you. Is this the one you're talking about? It was oh, here you go. You talking about this one, Raymond Skull? Yaki Awakened, the full interview. And that thing, an hour and 49 minutes long, man. I think that's one you talk about. If not, let me know, bro. But yeah, I found that one very interesting. I got a gang of more. I got lots more I pulled up. Been doing that over the weekend, you know, and I thought that was very imperative of, you know, that relates to what we discuss here on the channel, man. Maybe tomorrow I'll drop some more, maybe not, you know. Maybe I will. Henry said, man, yes, Brother Bub, I read the book about the Soledad brothers and watched the movie Black August 2007 and 1999 or 1977 movie Brothers. All right. Rakufu said, man, he later went to Nigeria and took a tribal name, a Mawale. Yeah. Even Dr. Khalid Muhammad in his last part of his life started teaching Afrocentric knowledge and started wearing the ankh. Yep. Oh, the George Jackson clip, that was called hold on. Okay, that was called They Executed Their Own Lawyer, Murdered Huey Newton, and Ran Prisons Like Cartels, the BGF story. Now, that part right there, we didn't go to the end, man. I'm gonna have a problem with that because I think that's, you know, I don't know, man, how true that the Huey part being murdered by, you know, the three letters, you know, by the family, man, by Jama. I don't know about that, man. I think I don't know about that, man. I'm not gonna even, you know, trip on that, bro. You know, because nah, I don't know. Yeah, that was what it's called, though. If you need me to flash it on the screen so you can get a quick look at it, let me know. I'll do it right quick. Yeah, I'll play the last part tomorrow, though, Rakufu, for sure. It's about time for me to cut out. I'm starving, y'all. I'm still on this damn diet. And I be hungry, man. Shit. I don't know. I don't know if this go, you know, I'm working on it, bro. I'm working on it. You know, the fruits and vegetables ain't really filling. There's a whole lot of water. And man, by 10 o'clock, I'll be hungry all over again, man. I don't like eating late, but you know, shit. But yeah, I'm put something in my stomach, man. Yeah, Rakufa, I'll play the second part tomorrow. I got it queued in here, bro. I will run it tomorrow, bro. Real spit. All right, Be the Hoobers 5122. He said that's out, man. I don't know what you mean, but okay, man. Good to see you up in here, bro. All right. Let me see what we got here. You got Brian Mofit. Okay, mind over matter. That's what he say. Frederick Hasby, what it do, love one? Give you 4 back. You know how we do. Good to see you up in here, brother. Rakufu said, me too, bub. I need to stop eating so much. Yeah, I ain't liking it, man. I like to eat. I like big plates, man. You know, shit, man. I'm dealing with it though, man. You know, I'm gonna stay the course with the wife, you know. So she pushes on me. I needed it, you know what I'm saying? So I ain't really complaining, man. I just like to eat more. A little more, something more filling shit, you know. Maybe, you know, as the diet progresses, I think different vegetables and fruits can be, you know, implemented in the diet. So I'm waiting to see what that is, man. I'm only 2 weeks in, man. So shit. I wish it comes soon. All right. Be the Hoovers 51 says, man, we not doing that shit. You feel me? Well, I don't know what you're talking about exactly, bro, but you said we're not doing that shit. You feel me? That's out. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about exactly, but all right, you know, express it. What you talking about? Make it make sense. Henry Settle said, man, laugh out loud. I'm going through the same thing as you, brother Bub. I've been starving, LOL. But let's stick to it so we can see the positive results. And that's the whole purpose, right? So I ain't backed out of it, man. Real spit. I have not backed out of it, man. Damn. Brian said, man, how long you been on the diet, bub? Hey, man, I've been on the thing only 2 weeks, man. I swear, man. And you know, it's kind of crazy because I'll be hungry and I'll be acting like I ain't got no discipline. In this situation, or in this instance, I feel like I don't want none. You know what I mean? I want to eat a full plate. You know, get up in the morning, I'll be hungry. All right, what, you know, shit, you know. Man, brother might have about 8 to 10 strawberries and something, you know what I mean? You know, say, hey, come on, man. I got to eat. But I'm gonna ride it out. Like I said, man, my wife is involved, man. My queen doing it, so I'm gonna do it. I'm just talking smack, man. You know, I'm just talking smack, man. Want to be humorous, funny about it. But it's a good look, man. It's a good look. So I appreciate I'm on it, tell you the truth. Raymond Skull, man, says salute to the brothers and queens in the group. Good night to all. Likewise, brother. Peace and prosperity to you and the fam, Roscoe. I'll see you on the next one, bro. Take care of yourself, man. All love. All right, same to you, Rakufu. Drink some water. Real spit, bro. That's exactly what I'm gonna have to do, man. That's exactly what I'm going to have to do. Brian said, man, too is better when you go through the diet. Yeah, keep each other accountable. Real spit, man. And we've been on it together, man. We've been on it. I swear the first few nights, that first week, man, I'm going to tell y'all this right quick, then I'm gone. I think it was the third night, and I don't know what the hell that was, man. I was like, oh, hell no. By 10:30, man, I'm like, man, I got up, went down to the kitchen. I found a little bag of snack crackers and shit, like cheddar cheese flavored and shit. And this shit we trying to avoid. Man, I took that thing back upstairs, man. I got the munching down there, woke her up. She said, oh, what you doing? I say, hey, man, I couldn't help it, man. I ain't done that since, but that first couple of nights was hell. Yeah, I got it though, man. I love the fact she in it with me, man. I'm in it with her. You know, she gonna keep me steady though. That's for sure. Appreciate that though, man. Appreciate you dropping that like that, Brian. All right, everybody, man. I got to get ready to cut out. Hey, man, look, y'all already know what it is, man. And if you don't, this is what it is, you know. And I want to drop this, man, you know, especially be the Hooverist. Listen, man, love yourself, man. Love yourself, man, so that you can get to the point where you can love your other brothers and sisters. These kings and queens that's coming up, man. They're going to need that from you. You know, you may need it from them. Love yourself, man. Take care of yourself so that you know how to get to the point where you can take care of your brother and sister in the time of need. You never know when they're going to need your support, man. But that love brings about a whole different perspective. You know, we tend to think in terms of not just survival, man, but existing, man, you know, for a reason. You know, that love brings about this thought of this mindset about purpose. What's your purpose, homie? You know, what's your purpose, you know? And how does that purpose help you? And how does it help those around you, your family, or just people you meet in the street? Love yourself so that you can love others, man. That's all we're saying, man. Take care of yourself so that you be in a position to take care of those who may need your support and help, bro. That's it. That's all, you know. We push black first here, bro. Black first. You know, I don't push Hoover first. You know what I mean? I push the fact that I'm a black man first, you know. I've always done that, though. I didn't wait to get the podcast to be that type of dude. Most cats know me, know that, you know. I never put Hoover before me being a man, you know. You know, especially when I knew better. Probably when I was younger, I would do that, you know. But once I got into the know, you know, I got to, you know, get into bro, I was gathering a little understanding, you know, a little knowledge. Boom. I realized that I'm a man first, a black man first, all right? So that is, man. Take care of each other, man. That's what's happening. Take care of each other, all right? The power is in the people, y'all. It's that simple, you know? I mean, I know it sounds complicated because we caught up in this matrix. We don't know that we got the power, but that's where it exists, in us. The power is in the people. That being said, man, you are, you have been, and you will be under the groove. One love, everybody. Catch you on the next one.
Count the names, count the bodies, count the victory. Cullen Hughes, Hurston, writing future history. From the Apollo to the Borough to the Sphere. where the echo of those Harlem nights still ringing clear. So when they ask what happened in those tenement flats, between the spirituals and where consciousness is at, tell them we transform suffering to scholarship and song. Tell them we've been telling you we're brilliant all along. The Renaissance will prologue every decade since the sequel. Every black child born's continuation of the people who survived the Middle Passage, survived the Jim Crow laws, and built magnificence from nothing but their vision and their flaws. That's in the sergeant. This is once a less than Actors, hatches, and Mercedes. Please don't you, I can't stop us. Power sensitive budget, the appeals for polls. Need your data, talks and counsel, any problem when the wet just wanna build the season big. Now don't get the pause. It's just erasing up the times, plead the walking soft the main. Make it on the fans, turn and neck and love the durn. Suffer like the kisher. You went from the preaching up on side is each alone, bitch on the shit and untrue seeing vets. Someone the very inch on Gary Land. Be hell in heaven, you see what the bound of in. You wait talking for the harbor, make to keep him full the trumpets on the boards to the single land is carried open slowly. Keep us looking on my mother, break your chair and resi for the heat and let the peasant be. It's every time we keep a spawn.